That's something. Just the thing for this heat. A fresh cut. Well, we'll let it play out. Now that was Another Mirage by Rockin' for Decades. Ooh-wee, what a track. This is Cody Mike once again. Welcome, travelers. I hope you enjoyed that one. A new favorite of mine, I must say. And the time is 18 minutes past 1 here on the Devil's Backbone, and the heat's just about driving us here at the studio up the wall. Can't imagine how it is for you folks working out in it direct like. But that's the Texas life. Don't y'all let any no-good Arizonian lizard claim that for themselves. Well, at least I'm protected in here by all of this fancy soundproofing. Could a mosquito get in, even he squeezed himself flat. And still, these tunes are going out to all y'all laboring out there who ain't got no lunch break, ain't got no electric fan, and ain't got no icebox built into your fancy new government Chevy. These things are ephemeral. They will not last. And we all know, whatever the government gives you or promises to give to you, it ain't worth the spit off a leaf insett's ass, if you pardon my French. We stay independent. As always, the Lone Star State, as they say, no matter what old Gerald tells us. Not that that sumbitch ever won a damn election in the first place, but sure, slather my biscuits, I'm getting all politicized again. Y'all will have to forgive me. All I'll say is, any of you out there in this heat who ain't got the sense to cover your damn heads, you got some sand. And that's all I'll say. If I were you, I'd duck into the first shade y'all can find in this here oven and read yourself a book or something before that mirage fades and you're left nothing but a cinder. And get out of that heat. We ain't mad dogs nor Englishmen round these parts. And if you can't, why don't you just get your assistant to fetch you up some frozen cow juice? Cecil, get on up here. I kid. Now, so it's just about time for another track here, isn't it? Here's a lively little number from newcomer Chris Shards called Flight Mode. And I just know you're gonna love it. Now remember what I said now. Don't you shrivel up in that desert. Feel that. The Apocalypse Players present Highway of Blood. A Call of Cthulhu scenario by Alex Guillotte, Ian Christiansen, and Davae Breon Jaxson. With Dan Wheeler as Quincy J. Lafitte, Dominic Allen as Edward Ed Mooney, Joseph Chance as Beverley Jack Carstairs, and Danann McAleer as the Keeper of Arcane Law. This is based on a true story. Part 3. Thunderstruck. It seems on my silver and it says Divermis Mysterious. are suddenly drawn towards it. And then that shadowy figure behind the glass sort of rears up and stands very tall. And a figure moves towards the door. And as it does, it takes a sudden turn. You see that gilded lettering, which you'd read, disappearing into the dark again, as if being suddenly hidden. You still feel that hint of a pull towards it, even though it's out of sight now. And the midday heat is becoming utterly unbearable, even with your hats and everything, and with your weather-beaten endurance.
I'm gonna go into this here store, poke my nose through the aisles. See you fellas inside, yes?
Oh, well, I guess this bookshop's as good a place as any to hole up for a bit and see what happens. Maybe we could lock the door behind us just in case. From my experience, a bookseller, academic type, he may be on our side, if you like.
Well, Mooney's inside now, I think, but the other two of you, so you've just had this refracted vision of the bar pointing. What it seemed to be pointing a group of figures in your direction, and the way they moved off was sort of reminiscent of, I don't know, insects, maybe. And anyway, as they were moving, it was like they were moving like cockroaches, sort of scuttling away from the veranda.
Did you see that?
I don't know. I saw some kind of... Well, those folks back across the way seem to be moving odd.
Kind of jittery, I'd say, like some kind of bug.
Well, as an entomologist, I would have to agree. Perhaps that Mr. Mooney, although he may be a bit volatile, has the right idea, and we should just get ourselves inside there.
I think you might be right. And I think I take one last scan about us on the road.
So inside, Mooney, as your eyes adjust, you see that the inside of the shop is hugely complex. There's sort of hangings, like hanging things, drapes, trinkets, the whole 9 yards. And even though it can't be more than a couple of dozen square feet inside, it sort of has the feels almost like a labyrinth, like one of those old bookshops, with every twist and turn covered in dust or dust covers. And as you sort of turn into it, you see that shadowy figure crossing back behind what looks like the counter. He seems to be a man in his 50s, his mid-50s. His back's to you, and he sort of you see him move between the stacks. He's dropping off sort of certain items like books and stuff, as if he's having a little tidy up. And then as he sort of he turns back, you see his face. It seems sort of quite craggy and weather-beaten, not dissimilar to yours, really, in that sense, like the sense of an outdoorsman. He's with a not unfriendly twinkle, which might still be behind his eyes. He's got silver hair in a sort of close-cropped ponytail. And he sort of looks at you with it's an expression that it could be suspicion, could be amusement, hard to say for sure, but he doesn't say anything. He just he drops off the last of the books, and he just he moves behind the counter, just presses the cash register, and stands there. Just lets the sound of that do the talking. And meanwhile, outside, the heat's still baking down on the other two of you, and you're still sort of saturated with that feeling of being followed by these folks, if that's what they are.
Yeah, well, let's get inside.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I'm fishing in my back pocket, and I pull out this beaten leather notebook, and I say, "Excuse me, sir. I say, proprietor?
That's right.
The name's Mooney, Ed Mooney. I'm a visitor to these parts, but I hail from not too far yonder, and I was wondering if you happen to know of a name very dear to me, by the name of Jacob Blackwood. That ring any bells for you? He was an old prospector, taught me everything I know. Anyways, he left me a little token of remembrance, this little notebook here. I've had it for years and years, and I can't make head nor tail of it. What do you think? Are you an expert in that sort of thing? I think it's some sort of secret code, or I don't know, some writing fancy like that I don't really grasp.
I don't know nothing about that. But unless you want to make a purchase, you can move along.
Oh, well, I purchase. I'm not short of a dollar or two, sir. I was wondering, in a bookshop like this, in a town of this sort of size and place, I was wondering, do you have anything that is particularly peculiar?
Well, if peculiar is your go-to, we got plenty. And he sort of just gives you a general wave of the hand.
Oh, I know. But I want the most peculiar. I want to know what your most precious and valuable commodity is. I have an obsession, you see, sir. I like to call it an obsession.
I see. Well, for the time being, we ain't got nothing particularly precious. Just the usual. If you all want dream catchers or any sort of sage bindings or anything like that, we can help you out.
I'm a bit superstitious about dream catchers, I'm afraid. But if you got nothing that a discerning bibliophile might purchase from you, then I'll simply have to peruse the shelves myself. But if you could at least direct me in the right place for something, I don't know, anything alluding to lost treasures, secrets of the Deseret, anything like that?
By all chances, go over there on your right. He gestures to the right, and there's a sort of a slimmer book tome. He sort of says, yep, that's where you might find something suiting your interest. But he seems very disinterested throughout the entire discussion.
Of course. I gotta say, as I walk over to the bookshelf, this ain't so different from prospecting in the old days. Except panning for gold, I'm panning for, well, text, I suppose.
Is that right?
Isn't it?
He doesn't laugh politely. He sort of just watches you move over.
I think we must be inside by this point, because I think we...
Yeah, I'd say so.
Brief.
I'd say that's fair to say. That was the discussion that was had while you were edging on the doorstep, as it were.
I'm also looking for anything by Mr. Stephen King. I hear he's written a new novel. He's a new writer. Written a thing called Carrie. It's about a lady who has trouble with her ablutions.
Mooney, there's a...
You read any King?
Like there's some folks following us out there. I don't know why, but...
I grab you by the lapels and go, What people? What people was they? Was they like wearing big black stove top hats? Was they in dark glasses? Was they government men?
No.
Oh, thank God. All right.
Why don't we look at some books?
Yes. Is there a lock on the door?
There's a little slide-along lock.
Can I see if I can maybe slide the slide-along lock shut without the shopkeeper seeing?
That'll be a sleight of hand.
I'm going to suggest that I'm at the door.
I could do that.
I'm going to suggest I'm at the door, and you did go over to Mooney, and he did grab you by the lapels. So I'm blocking you there, and I'm looking at you very interestedly.
Me?
Yeah, and I say, why don't we look at some books? This one here looks interesting, and I just pick the closest book to me, and I bring it up, and I whisper to you, and I say, I'll stay at the door if you like. Seems like Ed's got something on his mind.
Motorbikers. They weren't motorbikers, was they?
No.
No.
Leather and runestone.
Not so much.
Okay.
Sure you don't want me to try and slide that lock across? Just give us extra bit of warning if anyone does turn up.
I look a bit panicked, but then I say, this looks like a nice volume. And I nod at you, Lafitte, and I walk straight over to the shopkeeper. You know, I'm tall and broad-shouldered, and I say, how much do you want for this? And I'm basically trying to get in the way so that Lafitte can do that.
Okay.
Very kind.
What is it you've brought over to him?
They probably wouldn't have followed me out here anyway.
Literally whatever book I've just picked up.
Okay. He says 50 cents.
Well, I guess let's call it $1. You got a nice place here. You get much passing trade? And I'm looking for change as I do this.
He says, nope. You want it wrapped?
No. I look at the cover for the first time. As I say, I'm buying it for my niece. Presumably, of course.
Says, Mysteries of the Wendigo.
Yeah, she likes she likes stuff about Wendigo. Is that somewhere
Is that so?
upstate?
By Wallace Barney Baskin.
Yep, that's about right.
This guy Basker, he any good?
Yeah. Nope. And he takes the book and he pushes past. He goes behind the counter, and there's what you can see is, well, I don't know what knowledge you have of Native American culture, but like it seems like if you have any.
I've got History 10.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
I mean, it's not going to happen, guys, but
You never know. Right?
my intention is to just be a block, right? 34.
A fumble would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
34, it's a fail. I'm not going to spend the luck.
It looks to you at first glance as like a genuine sort of Apache tapestry.
Helicopter.
And he sort of...
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
black helicopters. And he pushes it aside and takes the book out back. And you can sort of hear him sort of in this back room, sort of moving around and grabbing a sort of paper bag or something, you assume. But there's a moment where the three of you stood there together.
Well, if he's gone in the back room, I imagine I can slide the lock across without even doing a sleight of hand roll. Well, I mean...
Yeah, if you've waited that long, yeah.
Gentlemen, I gotta
If you were sort of... Yeah, let's say you did. Yeah.
Gentlemen, I gotta come clean with you. I haven't had the most spotless past. And there are some gentlemen out there, some people, some folks who I always fear they're gonna come a-looking. It would be very unusual if they followed me all the way out here, but you never know. These people you saw that are following us, locals, you say? You reckon?
Look like locals to me.
All right, that's all right then, but we gotta keep our eyes peeled. Never know what son of a bitch motherfucker's decided to go and get himself fucked up on trying to get rich off me.
The way they...
You see this? And I point at the scar that goes from my mouth to my ear. That was one close shave I will not forget.
Oh, I see.
The way they moved. It didn't seem right to me.
What?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
They went over that balustrade outside the saloon. It was like they dropped down real close to the earth for a second. I don't know. I'm hot. It wasn't like we'd had an easy time of it.
Mooney's eyes go wide in horror.
Oh, it's
As
true.
they do, could you all give me a spot hidden?
The movement was strange, and I know what people say, that I spend too much time around arthropods. Is that the word? Is that the right word? Too much time around insects, but they did have an insectoid movement to them. Wouldn't you agree?
Made me think of a cockroach. That one in the alleyway.
Exactly like a cockroach.
The ones at the saloon made me think of beetles.
Was that spot hidden?
I've just failed that by 8 points.
I'm tempted to spend some luck on this.
I'm tempted to push the roll.
I'm tempted to push the roll because I've got really good spot hidden.
It's entirely your call.
Would it make a difference, gentlemen,
It's not
tactically,
the
if I
be-all
just
and
spend some
end-all.
luck?
How much luck do you have to spend?
5.
Oh, I think you should spend your luck and then we don't have to.
And I've got 70 luck. So I'm going to spend 5 luck.
Dose.
My 40.
Hey.
My 40 is now a 35. I've passed. It's not a hard pass.
So you see across the street through the glare on the windows, you see a group of about 7 or 8 young men sort of shambling along between the alleyways, between the shops on the other side of the road, and you see them sort of you see the one in front sort of clock you and give a signal to the others, and they sort of drop back. It's a brief moment, but you're convinced that
I point and mouth. They're there. to out the window, and then I just say, mister, funny question, you got a way out back?
Well, we do. Why would you need it?
I don't know, maybe you want to tell us. And then I just look wide-eyed at the other two.
He pushes through the Apache curtain. He comes back with a brown paper bag with the book sort of wrapped in, hands it over to you, and says, you taken some notice, have you?
Well, I may have made a bit of a fool of myself in the local taberna. I had a heavy lunch, and it turned me strange. You see, the heat has got to me. I'm a bit dehydrated, and anyway, my colleagues here were somewhat embarrassed by my behavior. I may have caused a small bit of offense, and I've yet to really explain and apologize for my actions. I'm worried they've got a bit rash, and certainly I will happily go out the front and discuss it with these people, but I don't want my colleagues here to bear the brunt of my bad behavior. So if they could slip out the back there, I think that would be very
That
He laughs slightly.
That's most kind,
He says,
Mr. Mooney, but I feel maybe discretion is a better part of valor, and if there was a chance we could all slip away, that would be the preferred course of action.
Why, Mr. Lafitte, I think you're absolute. That's a very fine suggestion, and one that I will endorse. I think that
You're all looking to slip away. What is it that you folks have done that could cause such an embarrassment in this town?
Well,
I may have I jostled a table, and I misunderstood my friend here, and may have accidentally escalated a private argument into a public argument.
That's true. It was a minor altercation between the two of us, and it needn't have involved anyone else. It's a misunderstanding, I believe.
The passions got me. I'm sure you've been in similar situations yourself.
Are you?
say, Ed, did you... Oh, sorry. Mr. Thunderbird, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, we're real sorry, but Ed, did you find a book that you wanted to buy? Because...
John Thunder. You can call me John Thunder.
Well, John Thunder, pleasure to meet you. My middle name's John, as it happens. Beverley Carstairs. People call me Jack.
Well, there you have it.
My mother's name was John.
I'm sure it was. Now listen to me. We got a back entrance, but I'm not sure it'll do you any good. If you've been, you hoping to stay around in town for a while, or are you?
No, we're just...
You heading on through?
Our truck's getting fixed up right about now. We won't be here long.
Oh, your truck's getting fixed up, is it?
Say, what if we've been invited over to the docks? I say to him.
The dock?
Yeah, what if we've been invited over to docks? Mr...
Well,
Brenner.
Doc Bob Brenner, that's the one.
well, you can take that invitation or you can not.
Would you?
Nope.
Listen, friend, I got a feeling that though you may have a certain indisposition to us, being from outside. I understand that. I've been around. But I hope that we also have a mutual indisposition to some of the people in this town. And if you could give us a nod and a wink, that would be very helpful in our matters here. If there's something you feel we ought to know.
Well, that depends. Depends entirely who you are and where you work.
Well, this gentleman is interested in insects.
Yeah, I'm an entomologist. I work for, let me try and remember what the university is that I'm based at.
It's a university, not a government department, you understand?
Guam. It's Guam University, isn't it? Oh, no, sorry, it's
On
not.
this occasion, it's,
So, well, you looking into the scorpions around here, or...
It's that kind of...
Austin.
It's that kind of...
Austin University.
And I'm a geologist. I look at rocks. And then I put them back.
Well, I suppose someone has to. How about your silent friend here?
I'm a land surveyor, sir.
So you watch while they do their work.
I do some...
That's right. That's exactly right.
I do some measuring as well.
He looks at very big bits of land. Our friend here looks at quite small rocks, and I look at tiny, tiny little critters. So,
I can't break this. I can't break this dollar. I'm sorry. I don't have 50 cents. I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
And I put it on the.
You can take the book. You can take the book for free. That ain't my concern. My concern is you folks seem a bit wet round the gills, and if you're genuinely unsure as to what's happening here, I would say to get back to that gas station and get back in your vehicle as soon as you possibly can.
I think that's what we intend to do.
I see. So whatever's brought you here isn't so pressing.
What brought us here was the gas station. We needed gas.
Wow. I thought one of you was a land surveyor. One of you seem like scientist types to me. You're not here for the mines.
Oh, sure. No, but not your good town. Not the good town of Abattoir. That's not of our interest. Don't worry about that.
Now, just to be clear, I feel like Joseph had this conversation with the doctor out on the veranda, and he basically told you that the old uranium mines, were just through the town. And that this was that you haven't passed that on, and that might not be something you want to raise, but
but we knew that they were close, right? I mean, Devil's Backbone is just.
You
above
knew they
us.
were close.
It's just above us,
Yeah.
and this was we had to stop the gas because it wouldn't be sensible to not stop the gas.
And it could well be that Quincy's just being devious, but either way. This gentleman with the long pulled back ponytail sort of says, listen, I can't help you too much other than saying that, but I would recommend you leave town as soon as possible. The locals round here, well, you've probably had glimpses of them. They don't particularly take to outsiders.
How do they get along with you, if you don't mind me asking? Or how do
they
you
get along with me
them?
just fine.
How's
me and
that?
my friend Billy. Well, me and my friend Billy, we get along just fine. We've been here longer than them.
You never had any trouble with them?
Of course, I've had trouble with them, but they respect me. And you see his eyes. Maybe it's a psychology roll.
Go on then.
I mean, you're all welcome to do that. To be fair.
I was going to say when he said me and my friend Billy, did we see his eyes go down to the the drawer in front of him, which is sort of heavily clasped and is the perfect length for a shotgun?
No, it wasn't the Billy Club that he was talking about.
Just checking, yeah. No, that's a big fail for my psychology.
I passed mine,
You all
actually,
succeed?
amazingly. I've only got 8. I've only got 10 psychology, but I rolled an 8.
Nice.
Well, there you go. You see that, like, after he mentions Billy, he sort of looks up to the top of the door frame that you came through, and as you glance back, you see there's lots of carved runes into the wood, alongside all the sort of dream catchers and
In the front door of the shop.
yeah, the front door of the shop.
And then above it, there's a Billy Big Mouth Bass.
Yeah, and it just keeps turning around and singing to you.
Take me to the water. Yeah, anyway.
Der Fisherman.
All I'd say to you is it's probably best you leave town while it's still day.
Understood.
Bit of a party town at night, I guess.
Nope.
I was just being humorous with you, sir.
I don't really go for humor.
That's fair enough.
May I just ask, I'm still sort of glancing back towards the door, wondering whether, not really my thing, but wondering whether those runes are like a ward. But as I'm doing that, I'm saying, you mentioned the dock. You wouldn't go to the docks for a meal of an evening. Is he one of the locals that you think are suspicious of outsiders, or you think we should stay away from him for a different reason?
No. Doc Brenner, he's a good man. I'm sure of that.
So you just...
He wouldn't blink as he shot. That's all I'll say. You wouldn't see the man blink as he shoot. But, he's a good man. Upstanding pillar of the community.
So you're saying we shouldn't go to his because we should get out of town, not because he is a danger?
I'm saying you should do what you want, but what I want you to do is get out of my shop, and you can take this book that you haven't paid for.
Been most helpful.
Hey, now, hang on a minute. He did offer to pay double. You can't hold that against us, sir.
I won't hold anything against you. You can pay nothing or you can pay double, but either way, I'd like you to get out of my shop.
Pay the man double, Carstairs.
I've already put the money down. It's right there. Look, we don't want any
Well, don't
trouble.
pick it back up again, Beverley.
How's about that back door? Were we having a theoretical conversation about the back door? If we were, it feels like it wasted everyone's time. But is there a back door we could exit by?
You really want to use the back door?
Glance again at the front door. Can we still see the...
I mean, are these 8 guys out there?
No, you can't see anyone out there.
Well,
How old are you, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm as old as my gums and a little bit older than my teeth. Now,
Oh, so you're not 7. That's all right, then. Okay,
I'm just 9.
that's right. 9. I knew it was one of those numbers.
He says, well, if you're insisting, follow me. And he hands you the sort of packaged brown paper book, and he leads you through to the back, and you go through a sort of the smell of sage comes across very strongly. There's a lot of sort of smoke in the air, and you might notice a couple of poultices burning, but either way,
Pot pie.
yeah, either way, he opens the back door and he says, you just see a sort of arid landscape, as you'd expect, behind it. The sort of yard leading into just the desert itself. And he says, now, there you are.
What do you reckon, gentlemen? Are we going to take a light jog up to this place? Or a dead sprint?
I think my sprinting days might be behind me, but we should probably try and move as rapidly as possible.
Well,
it's good of you, Mr. John Thunderbird. Thank you.
thank you. Enjoy the book. And he slams the door. And you see a couple of the little dream catchers sort of shake in the window.
What a cunt.
Well, there
What
you
a
go.
delightful gentleman.
They say my grandfather had a lot of dealings with the Native Americans, I say, and I look dreamily out across the desert. That was back in Maine. So can we circumnavigate here back to the van?
What you can see ahead of you is, apart from the desert expanding, you can see a little sort of white wooden... it's looking on its not last legs, but it's looking a bit weather-beaten. But you can see a little church sort of going off on a little angle, a little curved road. But other than that, you're looking at either making your way back through the town or going further through the town, where the shops are less sort of. But
we can't work our way around the back of it and then cut in through an alley.
You could, yeah, you could make your way sort of. If you turn right, you could make your way along behind the backs of the shops and buildings you've seen so far. So it's entirely your call.
Should we just head back to the van?
I think we should. I mean, they've got no way of. It's not like any of us is carrying a payphone in our pocket. If they fix a van, they won't have any way of telling us unless we're up there.
Well, that would be a hell of a thing,
wouldn't it?
Payphone in your pocket. He looks dreamily out across the desert.
You're going to make your way back behind the houses towards the...
I feel like that's the most logical thing for us to do, is to go back to the van.
Yeah.
We've probably been an hour or two, right?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
An hour or two? Is that?
Maybe not.
Doesn't feel like that to me, but...
Well, maybe an hour.
Yeah, like
not an
45
hour or
to an
two.
We might at least have
Yeah,
a better
yeah.
idea of how long the job's going to take, even if it hasn't been finished.
Yeah. Let's say it's about 1:30, 1:45.
As I understand it, it's heading back early, right? But
Yeah.
the suggestion is there's nothing...
And you're also, like, you're suddenly aware, as soon as you're outside, you're aware of just the level of the heat that you feel the need to just press sort of cold compresses or wet rags. You need something to cover you. I don't know if you have jackets to put over your head or something, but you either way, it's that sort of blistering heat. But you make your way. Do you attempt to do something like that to sort of keep the heat off you, or do you just suck it up?
I mean,
I just suck it up.
I feel like we left the van not in a state of disrepair and stress.
No.
So is it fair to say, since we all do work on the land, so is it fair to say we had our hats with us?
I'd say so, yeah. So pop your hats on and sort of make your way right behind the houses.
You spend a couple of minutes sort of recreating famous scenes from Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, sort of fence hopping in gardens, and no, not really. But you, I won't ask for a stealth roll. Like I said, it's the middle of the day, so apart from those shady figures you saw earlier, no one seems to be sort of milling about. You're sort of at the back of everything here anyway. But you take a bit of time and you loop round the back of this, the back of the main street, until you see the road, the turn-off road that you came through on, and see the Esso Garage logo sort of looming up over the end of the row of houses.
And you sort of turn the corner as you get to the opening out onto the main road, and you come back up to the gas station, and you see your pot-bellied truck driver there, and your sort of naval tattooed fella sat outside where they were on the bench, sort of spitting tobacco and drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Remind me, Keith.
Howdy, partners.
Well, how do you do? You have any luck in town?
Did we?
Well, we had a bite to eat.
And I look meaningfully at Mooney and say,
A bite?
before the table got kicked over. But
All right.
Oh, let bygones be bygones, Lafitte. We've been through this.
Sounds like at least you got some food in you. And then the other guy, Nate, you know, the military guy with the naval tattoos, who's a bit less chatty, sort of says, sounds like you've made your presence known anyway.
What makes you say that?
Well, you know, everyone in town's talking about it.
How's that? What do you mean everyone in town's talking about it?
Well, someone holding up the local bar.
Holding up the bar?
Oh, these are what are they called? Whispers.
Defamations?
These are wild stories.
I see. Well,
May I?
not for me to judge.
May I just do a little sense check on how long we spent in the shop and whether his comment about everyone in town is talking about it is like a bit surprising because words got around quick, or whether it's like that's literally impossible because it just happened and these
I'd be inclined to just offer you the former.
Okay.
It's pretty surprising, but you don't know this place and you don't know you've already seen people sort of milling about, some of them crawling like cockroach type figures, like whispering to each other. It's entirely possible.
Okay.
And as you're wondering that, Rosso comes out, the guy who owns the place, and he looks a bit more covered in grease than he did before, and he slings the thing over his shoulder and he says, well, I'm sorry, gentlemen, but you're going to be here for a day or two, it looks like. We need new parts.
No. If I'd known we were going to be here for a day or two, I would have played my hand very differently. You cannot change the game from poker to blackjack halfway through.
Well, that's none of my concern, sir. I only play roulette because I don't understand numbers.
I will make it, Björk. What do you make of that John Thunder who runs the bookshop?
John?
Yeah.
He's a good man.
Is that so?
He's a good man.
What do you make of everybody else, this Doc character?
Hey, listen, I don't know. All I'm saying is it's going to be a day or two till we get the parts in.
Well,
look.
What is...
Jack shit! I start kicking the dust. Jack shit!
All right, Mr. Mooney, just don't worry. We'll find a way through this. It's not the end of the world.
Sorry, gentlemen, the passion got me again.
Say, is it all right if we tap you for 3 tall glasses of water?
Yeah. Steve, 3 glasses of water. You see the guy with the sort of buzz cut and the navel tattoos get up and sort of begrudgingly move into the bar area.
There, if we're stuck here for a couple of days, is this somewhere you'd recommend for us to stay?
Yeah, the last stop. They got their own rooms out back, motel, all that.
Oh, the place where we just had that lovely meal and had such a lovely encounter with the locals. And
so you got on all right?
Oh yeah,
good to know.
Got on fine. I look at Mooney again. Yeah, they'll be pleased to see us.
I'd recommend there.
That's for sure.
Yeah, unless there's an alternative accommodation that you would advise.
Nope.
It's good to have options. Really? None at all?
Well, unless you made any close friends in the town.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Mr. Williams, would you mind? I have to make an itinerary of all the parts that we're going to be replacing. The van, you see, it's EPA property, although it's leased to me, my name. So I need to see everything that we're going to be replacing. Do you mind if you talk me through it? I ain't no mechanic of your quality.
Yeah.
I could certainly...
Of course.
Well, I need to see what would be wrong with it so I can make a note. Is that okay?
Well, he's taken your Chevy and it's up on the
I'll walk over to it.
Stocks, as it were.
I'll walk over to it.
And he sort of leads you through and he says, now I just thought it was the tires that had been punctured, but of course look at the axle here and you can see, I don't know what your mechanical repair is.
It's 42. 42.
Wow, okay.
The meaning of life.
Do you want to do me because as he's explaining to you, he sort of says, it looks like this is worn through here. This looks like it's been worn through for a while, and the axle was about to come off the...
I gesture to Mooney and I say,
Angel.
Hey, Ed, come look at this.
What we got here, busted axle, is it? Peer under the car. All right. Well, let's see. It might not be as bad as you're saying.
I'm a 43 on a 42, and I'm going to spend that luck.
Well, I've rolled a 08 on my 50 mechanical repair. That is an extreme success.
Wow. Well, with your extreme success, you see where he's pointing to the axle and sort of saying, this is like wear and tear. This must have been like a problem before you even hit those nails. And you see it's clearly been hacked through with a hacksaw.
I look around the workshop to see if there's a hacksaw lying around.
Yeah, there is. There's several saws.
What was your name again, sir? I've completely forgotten.
Oh, Russo. Call me Russo.
Russo. I'm looking at this here axle here, see, and I can see these, they look like sawtooth marks. And that's been hacksawed in half. Well, there ain't no way we've driven all this way. Yeah, but
that can happen.
Not while you're just driving.
A chain gets wrapped around, potentially when you're leaving a building, or
how about a chain gets wrapped around your damn line throat?
All right, Mr. Mooney, Edward Mooney, step back. Come on now, this is no way to talk to me.
No, that piece of shit has sawn this in half.
Mooney,
he wants us to
back.
stay here. This is some sort of trap.
It didn't go well. Before.
I'd like
Do you think
to
it's
go
gonna
for
change
intimidate
now?
there if I can.
Okay, he's backing away from you, so like go for your intimidate and see what happens.
Okay, that's a 92 on my 50 intimidate.
Great.
Not great.
So he backs away from you and sort of says, now, we're all being sensible here. There's been no philandering or and he picks up, he grabs the shotgun off the wall that you saw earlier, and it's an old rusty thing, and he holds it up towards you and says,
what the hell are you doing?
What exactly are you accusing me of?
I think it's pretty plain, isn't it? I'm accusing you of sabotage.
Danann, can I check? With my pass, am I suspicious as well?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'd imagine by this point, certainly, but certainly, yeah, before he even grabs it, you get the impression it's been tampered with somehow. You don't know if it's him, to be fair.
Now, I'm willing to give you the benefit of the doubt and suggest that you've maybe tampered with this in order to get some extra money out of us, or to have to buy some more parts. But it's also possible you tampered with it for some sort of agenda. And that disturbs me. I can understand people trying to get an extra few dollars out of people way out here when all they do is come and buy, a tank of gas now and then. I can understand why you might feel the pinch and the need to do such a thing, and I can understand that. But I cannot be sure that you have not performed some sinister part in some orchestrated attempt to frustrate our work here, possibly on the act of, I don't know, trade unionists or...
Well, Quincy, as Rosso grabs the shotgun off the wall, you hear this sort of click and release, and you hear, the few, like, praying mantis and scorpions you'd been sort of studying half squashed on the floor. Your attention's distracted from them, and you sort of hear this from... the garage door's open. So I think as soon as you hear that, you do see Rosso with his back to you, aiming the shotgun further inside and saying all this, so yeah.
Well, I might sort of make my way over towards the door, but like the side of the door. I don't want to come like straight up behind him. I just want to sort of move closer, but within cover of the side of the door. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Can you do me a spot hidden while you do that?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's a regular success.
So you notice that Nate and Steve, the guys who sort of sit on the porch, haven't spoken in a while, and they're sort of just sitting, staring forwards, chewing tobacco, and you could almost be certain that they're basically deliberately ignoring what's happening.
Yeah.
So then, if we cut back to...
I'm getting quite a lot of Brian De Palma shots over your shoulder there, and sweat beading off the brow. So I take one step back during Ed's speech, so I'm closer to Ed.
Yeah.
But I was trying to interpose myself between the two of them. Now less so, obviously, because there's a shotgun involved. But that's all I do.
You're not going to shoot me. Because if you don't kill me, it'll be the biggest mistake of your fucking life.
Now, listen, mister. I didn't want to kill you in the first place. This has all been a misunderstanding. You know, I didn't want to get jumped. But you gotta trust me. This axle of yours, someone's tampered with it before I have. I haven't done anything like that. I wouldn't do that. It's against my Hippocratic oath as a mechanic.
I want to do a psychology roll on him.
Yeah, I'll join that party. Stand back. I'm using my 20 psychology, guys.
Yes. No good, no dice.
Oh,
41.
no joy.
41. I don't understand people.
Yeah.
I understand landscapes.
He, as far as you're aware, he seems to be being genuine. He sort of seems quite like...
That means he's lying.
But he seems quite like, listen. If you have to stay here tonight, it's best you don't make enemies. You get me? I can help fix up your car. The axle's fucked. And I found the 2 replacement tires, but it's just going to take me a couple of days to get the replacement axle from out of town. Now, you either trust me or you don't, but either way, that's the way it is. And I trust you won't try to leave town without your car, because you wouldn't get far. Especially with the attention you've pulled.
Maybe we could lend you a hand, Mr. Williams. Russo.
Yeah, perhaps you could. But this ain't getting fixed in the next day or two either way. We're going to have to wait for the parts.
I see. This ever happened before?
What? Folks coming through, having a broken motor, needing to wait a couple of days? Of course it has.
And it appearing like it's been sabotaged. Spikes in the wheels and...
Well, I have to say I don't agree that it does appear that it's been sabotaged. This is a classic case of wear and tear. But, well, you can laugh as much as you want, Mr. Ed Mooney.
Then.
Well, keep laughing. Either way...
I shall laugh myself to the grave, sir.
I'm sure you will. Either way, you've been down to the last stop. They own the motel around here. He'll get you some rooms for this evening. Sound good?
This is like a tourist trap without the Mickey Mouse ears.
What do we owe you for the trouble?
Nothing yet. Your payment is fixed. I ain't no,
Communist.
I don't rinse people. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
I ain't no one of those commies.
Well, we're good for it because, the Department of Energy and the Environmental Protection Agency are going to be interested in the bills that we're going to be putting in.
Well, I'm glad.
You know what that means?
I'm glad.
That means people coming to check, right? And I look at both men.
Yeah.
And I use the excuse to look back at Ed to see if I can see Lafitte.
I think I can only see the back of his head.
Yeah. Also, feel free to do me a psychology, since you've taken your turn to give him a hard stare.
Could we both do that then?
Yeah, if you'd like to.
Because I figured it was just, it was a gambit on my part. I wasn't trying to intimidate, but I was sort of going, how would you feel if a whole load of governmental types came looking?
Well, exactly. Yeah.
And my 86 gives me nothing. Probably because
I got a 6 on my 20, which is a hard success.
That's more like it.
So while Jack sort of puts in the boot and gets nothing for the for the reward, Ed, you do notice when he mentions people coming looking, you see a sort of a flash of emotion come over Rosso's face, and weirdly the closest thing you think it might be similar to is relief. It looks like a flash of relief that he might sort of welcome people coming in.
In which case, I think I say, are you from this place, Rosso?
Yeah. Lived it my whole life.
Changed a lot in that time?
Well, yeah, bits and pieces.
You ever thought of getting out?
Where would I go? Marathon?
Anywhere. It's a big old world.
My son's... and you sort of immediately see him sort of retract what he said, and he sort of says, my son... he says, anyway, I've got people who, well...
Depend on you.
It's not... Yeah. And it ain't so easy to move. Family stuff, you know?
But you would if you could.
Listen, I don't know what you've talked to. I don't know who you've talked to, whether you've talked to Doc or you've talked to the Reverend. But I don't want to assume anything. If I could move, of course I would move.
Why is that?
Well, let me ask you this. If you could choose to live here, would you? From what you've seen so far?
Well, it's an interesting bookshop, but I can't say I care much for the hospitality.
Well, I don't care much for hospitality either. But my son's here, and we're going to make the best of it. Now, I can call up to the last stop if you want me to book ahead for you.
I think I should probably go speak to them in person. Make my apologies.
Yeah, well, that's your call. Either way, I've had to order out for these parts, so it'll be a day or two before they're here, like I said.
I understand.
We'll pay you for them.
Well, thank you. And he puts the shotgun back on the wall. He's not been aiming at you this whole time. He's sort of lowered it, but he slots it back into the thing on the side wall and says, well, as long as we're clear.
Now, to be fair and to be clear, do we have a skeet gun in the van for the warding off of coyotes and the like? Or are we entirely unarmed? I think we're entirely unarmed.
Mooney's got shotgun.
I've got a shotgun. Oh, was it a shotgun or was it a pistol? I can't remember.
You've got a pistol, right? Definitely, because you pulled it on.
Oh, was it a pistol? I thought you'd pulled a shotgun.
In which case,
Yeah,
I doubt we do. Then I doubt we do. In which case, I've just got my tripod. That's all I've got.
Might be a lock roll.
I've just got my
Right.
flownet.
We might have a rifle in the car.
Oh, it's
Yeah, it might be a luck roll to
should we
see.
group luck.
Who's got the lowest?
Because it's a government vehicle, right? So, like...
Yeah, I mean, they might have given
Yeah.
us
It was me, right? Ooh, by 1 point, we do. I rolled a 54 on my 55 luck. I mean, I don't know how to use it, so, but hopefully one of you does. So when I see Rosso put the shotgun back on the wall, I sort of step round the door as if I've only just turned up and say,
Excuse me, I wonder if we could if we're going to be staying here for a couple of nights or a night or two, can we take our things out of the van? I have some bags in there that I'd like to take with me.
Oh, of course, yeah. Hold on. And he sort of adjusts the hydraulics and sort of brings it back down to the floor and says, help yourself. Shall I call ahead to the last stop? Tell them you'll be booking rooms?
I sort of glanced between the other two.
What do you think? Should we call ahead, or maybe we should present ourselves in person?
I think it would be much more Texanly of us to present ourselves in person, but that's
My thoughts exactly.
I nod.
All right. I'll leave you to it. And he heads outside.
So I'd like to get to the van immediately and have a look to see whether it looks like anything's been tampered with inside or disturbed, whether it looks like someone's been through our stuff or anything. Would you like me to roll something for that?
Spot hidden, maybe?
Cool. That's good. It's not quite hard. 39 on my 60, so regular.
Okay, so you do get the impression that, like, the big hold-all bag in the back, which would have all your sort of equipment for testing the groundwater, and relevant things like Geiger counters, all that sort of stuff.
I take out a pencil.
That is half unzipped, and you're pretty sure you didn't leave it
picked the
half
sharpest
unzipped
pencil.
before. But
The hardest lead.
If you look through it, everything seems to be in place, so, yeah.
I do. Gentlemen, looks like someone's maybe had a little look-see at what we got here in the van, but fortunately, everything is in order. Nothing's been taken, as far as I can tell. Maybe you should check your own possessions.
Well, someone definitely cut through the axle. We know that, right, Ed?
That's right.
I've got a good mind to walk back up to that bridge and see if there's any nails laid out in a pattern that allows for a couple of tires to be popped out.
Well, it seems like that probably would be an unnecessary journey. I think if someone's cut through the axle, we can assume that there weren't nails laid out.
Well, someone could have done that back, I guess, at Marathon. Marathon? Is that where we were before?
Yeah. Marathon was the last stop, yeah.
I mean, it's not unheard of.
That's true. Do you suspect they sabotaged the vehicle because they want the extra cash, or because they want us to stay here?
Do you mean Mr. Williams here? I don't know. Well, let's talk about that when we get out of garage.
I only ask because if someone sabotaged the vehicle because they want us to stay here, I suggest we do anything we can not to stay here. Maybe ask around, see if someone can sell us a car so we can get out of here as quickly as possible. I had a terrible feeling about those insectoid fellas, and your friend there, John Thunder, in the shop certainly didn't...
Hold your horses there, Mr. Lafitte. What's this about insectoid fellas?
The way they
Probably
move.
trying to tell you in the bookstore that the folks...
Well, you told me there was some people walking funny.
Well, that's
They were like insects?
just the way they moved. Look, let's make it look like we're doing. At least, if not allowing him to telephone ahead, let's make it look like we're turning up like he says, so that they think that they know where we are. Then we can maybe make a plan and go off on our own sweet path. What do you think?
As you're sort of saying this, you hear the radio click on, and it sort of comes on, and you hear the same knowing voice of the DJ, Curty Mike, sort of saying,
Now, if you're feeling a bit stuck in a rut, we've all been there. Sometimes it's hard to get yourself back out of that hole, especially if you're cut off, hacked away, as it were, from your friends and family. But you just got to get those wheels rolling again, get going. On which note, here's another fresh cut to help you on your way.
and he clicks onto the next track. And Rosso walks back in and says, you got everything you need?
God, it's like fucking Welcome to Night Vale or something.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just getting our stuff. It'll be a couple of minutes.
No rush. No rush. I'll leave you to it. And he steps outside and gives you another minute.
I strip my shirt off and I put a fresh shirt on.
You certainly get the impression that he'll be back in a moment. Yeah. And
he doesn't want to stay here. There's something about this place he don't like. When you mentioned people coming to visit, I saw palpable relief on his face, as if someone's going to come and lift him out of this shithole that he's found himself festering in. Some angel of mercy is going to come and lift him up and take him to the angelic bosom. That's the glimmer I saw in his eyes. He's as trapped as we are.
He does live in the shadow of the devil's backbone.
That's right.
Trapped by what? Maybe just trapped by small town mentality. Might be simple as that.
Might be. But I fear it.
I'm sort of going through my bag and taking a few things out, putting a few things, making sure that I've got like enough clothes for a couple of nights, but also all my insect collecting kit, my butterfly net, my jars and everything. What?
As you're going through the bags, you hear like the clatter of something metal, like a spanner or something falling on the floor. deeper into the recesses of the garage.
Someone there?
You hear this laughter.
I reach into the car and make sure I've got the flashlight with me.
I think I take my... I've got these long, sort of faux leather cases, in which I carry several... That's 1970s faux leather, if you know what I mean.
I think you say chaps.
Sadly not quite. I mean, like, you know, he could pass for that. But they carry several of the tripod legs, and I take one tripod out, and I put the skeet gun shotgun in, which means I have to sort of shove it in right there because it doesn't quite fit, I suspect.
Yeah.
And then I just stick my jacket over it so that you can't see the stock poking out, and I shoulder that while he's getting his flashlight, and I look nervously at Lafitte at the same time.
I sort of go through my bag and realise I have nothing to contribute in terms of, you know, anything useful or no form of stuff.
You've got your brain.
I put my hand on my pistol, you know, on my belt, and I shine the flashlight around the corners of the garage.
Bancarios. Fonex le dice cómo. De muñecas como la que tú quieres. En forma de pino, escarchada de colores y sabor yogur limón. Mantén una alimentación sana.
Let me tell you my complex backstory. I'm not sure it's written on here.
I think I probably just WhatsApped it to you.
I think it was WhatsApp to me. Where do I even look for that Danann? Whose name has always been permanently misspelled in my phone, which makes it hard to find.
What kind of a crazy name is Danann?
It's Danann in this phone.
Oh. See, like the yogurt.
So,
just like the yogurt.
¿Cuál es